This is a Dayton 24/7 Now Code Red weather alert.
All right, here's a live look tonight from our roadways through our ODOT cameras as we are continuing our Code Red weather alert tonight. We're still following a very strong storm system that is making its way towards the Miami Valley.
And we have a full team here tonight covering all aspects. But first, we want to turn things over to meteorologist Nick Maruziak, who has been following this storm system throughout the day and evening. So, Nick, when can we expect all of this to actually hit the Dayton area then?
Targeting about midnight through 3 a.m. So the storms are still right now churning through the central part of Indiana. Tim will be in with an update, but it is worth pointing out the central part of Indiana is under a tornado watch until 3 a.m. The National Weather Service in Wilmington has said that they may need to extend this to the east. Excuse me, that was the Storm Prediction Center that did that. So we are watching for that over the next hour or two, whether or not we get put under a tornado watch, severe thunderstorm watch. I don't think it matters because there is the chance of strong to severe storms. Right now, again, we're targeting between about midnight through 3 a.m. The biggest primary threat is going to be for some gusty winds. 50-mile-per-hour gusts, perhaps even 60, 70 are possible, especially if we do start to see these storms hold together over the next hour or two. As this system exits out of the area, the winds will diminish, and it should actually be a fairly quiet morning before we see more winds tomorrow. And that's one of the reasons why we have issued a code red weather alert, not just for tonight, but also for tomorrow. And again, tomorrow, 50-mile-per-hour gusts are possible across the area. So we are tracking this rather closely. We're going to send things over to Tim with an update on what's going on right now with this system across the country.
Yeah, we have a really large system out there. You can see really spanning multiple states from Memphis up towards Ohio, Chicago, and all the way back to Minneapolis. Just this big low pressure spiraling down towards Memphis. We have a few tornado warnings here. You can see coming through the southern side of Memphis right now, and then up towards Jackson and then Clifton as well. Moving up to closer to us, we have this really strong line right here is what's going to be moving into our region. It's very, very strong and potent. You see all those lightning strikes, all these orange blocks, those are severe thunderstorm warnings. And then, of course, the red ones are tornado warnings. We do have a strong one right here just north of Bloomington, continuing to head east. We'll keep monitoring as the system heads our way.
All right, thanks, guys. And FEMA sharing some tips to help you prepare for this severe weather. They're urging everyone to be prepared and be aware of the following. First, they say to have a way to receive weather alerts. A good way we could suggest is to download the Dayton 24/7 Now app onto your phone. Also, pay close attention to your local alerts and warnings. Make sure your phone is charged and check on flashlights to make sure that they're all working. Assist older adults who might need help getting to their safe spots, and be sure to clean out larger or loose items that are outside near your property so they don't cause damage if they're blown away.
At least 3 people are dead. Dozens more are injured tonight after several tornadoes ripped through the state of Arkansas. The state's capital suffered the brunt of that damage with dozens of homes destroyed. Several were injured in the Little Rock area alone. 5 reported to be critically injured. Now, Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders declaring a state of emergency following the damage. She signed an executive order to provide funding for the immediate response and activated the state's National Guard with recovery efforts.
No matter what comes our way, we will get back up the next day and keep moving. We will help our neighbors. We will ensure that every Arkansan who needs assistance has it. Our message and our mission is really simple. The people come first and the paperwork will come second.
Now, the twisters were part of a larger system of severe thunderstorms in the Midwest and South. The National Weather Service issued tornado watches for much of the region, spanning from southern Wisconsin all the way south into Texas.
And we want to provide you with a little more insight on what's going on in Arkansas tonight. Ashley Lunningham from our sister station in Little Rock brings us up to speed.
Yeah, I'm standing here on Keel Avenue in Sherwood, just outside of Little Rock, where homes have suffered extensive damage. Now, I spoke with Sherwood officials at a press conference who tell me that most of the damage is from downed power lines, downed trees, leaving most of the city without power. Reports also say that power may not be restored till as early as 4 a.m. Now, officials also say if you're driving along the road looking at damage, to stay out of the ways of crews that are cleaning up the debris and those that are working to restore the city back with power. Now, they also say that there have been no major injuries reported so far, and Officials say to keep an eye on the city's Facebook page for updates on where you can help and donate to those in the community. Live in Little Rock, I'm Ashley Lenningham.
All right, thanks so much. And the National Weather Service has described the situation there in Arkansas as catastrophic. Lydia Bice is at our Now desk with pictures and videos of the storm damage there from our sister station in Little Rock. Lydia.
That's right, Megan. Our sister station in Little Rock, Arkansas, KATV, has been posting pictures and videos on their Twitter account this evening. In this one, they say that a city in the eastern part of Arkansas was slammed hard Friday afternoon, leaving, quote, total destruction and dozens of people trapped in homes and businesses. Now, here they show damage to a church and added that Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders says she would be activating the Arkansas National Guard to assist the state police and other local law enforcement. Lastly, take a look at this funnel cloud that's right near a highway. In this tweet, our sister station says that at least one person has died as a result of the tornado in North Little Rock. We're continuing to monitor social media as severe storms come across the Midwest, and we'll continue to update you both on air and online as we learn more. Back to you.
Lydia, thanks. We want to remind you about what you need to do in the event of a tornado. If you're in a house, get to the basement. If you don't have one, go inside of a closet or bathroom on your lowest level. Getting under a sturdy table or beneath a staircase in any other windowless room is also safe. If you live in a mobile home, get out immediately. Do not hide underneath the trailer, as a storm could pick up your house and then drop it right on top of you. Instead, find a nearby shelter. Most parks have a community room or office that you can shelter in place in. If that's not an option, take cover in a ditch or culvert as far away from homes as possible. And if you are in a car, never try to outrun a tornado. Leave your vehicle immediately. Take cover in a ditch. Do not shelter in highway overpasses. The high winds of a tornado can actually accelerate in the confined space, meaning flying debris will be even more dangerous.
And now a live look tonight from the AES outage map. So far, you can see there are 400 customers without power. Those numbers, though, could still increase as the night progresses as these strong storms move through the Miami Valley. And as we get any weather updates, we'll be sure to alert you here on air and also again through our Dayton 24/7 Now app. With that app, you can get those breaking weather alerts. They're going to be very important tonight, sent right to the palm of your hand. Just take out your camera and scan the QR code you see right there on your screen to download the app. You can also find it in the Google Play and Apple app stores.
We'll also be providing updates on all of our social media accounts. You can follow and like all those pages you see there to get the latest information. And you can get a wrap of all of our information on our website, Dayton247now.com. Most of our updates can be found either on the homepage or under the weather tab.
Well, since the start of the year, more than 300 people have been reported missing in Ohio. One local nonprofit is working hard to support those families here and across the country. Clara Faith joins us live tonight in studio. And Clara, how are they helping those families?
Well, Megan, the Darke Foundation is a local nonprofit that supports families of missing people emotionally and financially. And this Easter, they're helping families try to enjoy Easter with handmade Easter baskets. These baskets will be given to children who are searching for their parents. The Darke Foundation says the goal is to try to make life as normal as possible for all involved.
I mean, every night just wondering where your mother is, where your father is, can be a lot on a child, just to try to bring some kind of smile on their face.
Now, the Darke Foundation tells me this week 3 families will be reunited for Easter. And if you would like to donate or help the foundation, you go to the web version of this story where I included a list. Now back to you.
All right, Clara, thank you. At least one person is hurt after a school bus had a crash in Preble County this morning. An investigation shows a car crossed the center line, hitting a Preble Shawnee local bus and the pickup truck that was driving behind it. The 5 students and the bus driver and the driver of the pickup truck, they were not hurt. The driver of the car, however, was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. The sheriff's office is continuing to investigate.
Tonight, Cincinnati and beyond is mourning the loss of 2 men. One of them, a Springfield Township police officer who died in a crash in North College Hill. Morella Porter explains what happened and how the community is remembering the men who died.
The images are devastating. The calls for help over the radio, heartbreaking.
I got a police cruiser on its top.
Hamilton and Center Ridge Township cruiser crashed out. I'm sending an ambulance. All units on the west, push your acknowledge button.
Cruiser involved versus civilians.
Officer Tim Unwin and William Dunson both killed in the crash just after midnight. Officer Unwin was responding to a call to assist another officer when it happened.
This is an extremely emotional and sad day for the family and friends of the two men who died, as well as for the entire Springfield Township Police Department and for our community as a whole. We offer our deepest condolences to the family and friends of our officer and the civilian driver, and to everyone impacted by this tragedy.
All right, an update to our situation. A tornado watch has been issued for the greater Dayton area. This will continue until 5 a.m. So now the tornado watch has been extended over our area until 5 a.m. I still expect a lot of the storms to be out of here at 3. But again, the tornado watch, meaning tornadoes are going to be possible tonight. So this is a time period of concern. Meanwhile, for right now, it's pretty quiet across the area. If you are traveling, give yourself some extra time. And again, we're going to take a quick break here. But again, the big storyline, we're watching strong to severe storms across the area with the potential for an isolated spin up or two. We'll have more coming up after the break. Here's a live look right now, though, from our Eco Plumber's Skycam as the storms not quite on the horizon, but they are getting closer. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now. Good evening. We have had a tornado watch. This is now issued from now until 5 a.m. So if you are going to be out and about tonight, the biggest concern is the potential for strong to severe storms. I want to focus in on the storms out to the west. This is the line that we are tracking rather closely. There is a couple of tornado warnings just to the north of Bloomington. And if you were to extrapolate this path, it would be, generally speaking, in our area from anywhere between, I would say, 10, 11 at the absolute earliest. I would say Richmond more towards 11, then maybe a midnight or 1 a.m. Again, this is going to crisscross through the area. Temperatures, wind gusts will be upwards of 50, 60, perhaps even 70. And what you get in this environment is the isolated spin-ups. And that's why we have been under a tornado watch, or have been put under, because we do expect there to be a chance of not only dangerously strong winds, but again, isolated spin-ups. In this environment that we are going to be going into, we really need to stay weather aware. I know that a lot of us want to get to bed, put away the phones, put away the electronics. Do not do that. We will update you if we get any watches and warnings in the area. So we will start pinging the apps, because this is likely to be a very, very active period. We do expect these wind gusts to continue through 2, 3 in the morning. So again, this is the time period of concern over the next little bit. If you are going to be out, you need to be weather aware. You need to make sure that you have a safe place if you are going to be traveling. If you do live in a home that is not sturdy, make sure that you have a safe place in mind in case we start to pop off with the warnings. Again, we will continue to track these storms all throughout the area. But right now, the big update is a tornado watch has been extended in our area until 5 a.m.
Former President Trump will be arraigned on criminal charges in New York on Tuesday. Now, he's due to surrender to the Manhattan courthouse after a grand jury determined there's enough evidence to put him on trial. The former president is facing over 30 counts related to business fraud, and according to the AP, Trump is facing at least one felony charge. It's the first time in U.S. history a current or former president has been criminally charged.
Well, we still don't know the charges against the former president. The indictment is under seal and will be announced later. The district attorney's office has been investigating Trump in connection with his alleged role in a hush money payment scheme involving an affair with a film star Stormy Daniels. Lawmakers are being asked whether or not the indictment is necessary, and the answer you get just depends on who you ask.
There's a lot more at stake here than the fate of Donald Trump. This is, I think, an affirmation of the principle that no one is above the law, that the law should apply equally.
It's clear to the overwhelming majority of the American people that this is nothing short of a political prosecution.
Now, Trump continues to deny that affair.
Now, the charges he faces in this case is only part of the many legal woes he's facing. The state of Georgia is still investigating his efforts to overturn the 2020 election defeat there. The Justice Department is investigating Trump's handling of classified documents and his actions leading up to the January 6th Capitol riot. The New York Attorney General is probing Trump and his organization for tax fraud. And the former president faces a defamation lawsuit from E. Jean Carroll, a former columnist who says he defamed her by denying he raped her in the 1980s. Now, Trump also denies wrongdoing in all of these investigations. You can read the latest updates on the former president's indictments right now at Dayton247now.com.
All right, we want to get back to the severe weather we're following right now. As the night continues, we are seeing more and more pictures and videos of storm damage across the Midwest. Lydia Bice is back at the Now Desk with more of these social media posts of the storm headed our way right now. Lydia.
That's right. Now you can see here, if I scroll, that the National Weather Service tornado account is tweeting all kinds of tornado warnings across the Midwest. You can see that they have some in different parts of Tennessee, Illinois, and Indiana. Now, AccuWeather tweeted this dash camera footage that captures a huge tornado crossing in front of one of their reporters south of Hendrick, Iowa today. And lastly, storm chaser Tanner Charles tweeted a stunning video up close to a tornado in Iowa. He said, quote, "Today was an emotional roller coaster, still processing, but this here, there is nothing like this feeling." We're going to continue monitoring storm damage across the Midwest, and of course, we'll keep you updated both on air and online. Back to you.
Lydia, thanks. President Biden was in Mississippi today following last week's devastating tornadoes, and while there, he delivered this message to anyone impacted.
I know there's a lot of pain, and that it's hard to believe at a moment like this community is going to be rebuilt and built back better than it was before. And I just want you to know, as you fight through this, you're not alone. The American people will be with you. They'll help you through it, and so will I.
Beautiful, you're great, thank you. Never mind, you're good.
Okay, so after visiting with residents and local leaders, the president says the federal government will cover the full cost of debris removal, operating shelters, and overtime for first responders for 30 days. FEMA is opening disaster recovery centers in 4 Mississippi counties as well. Officials say cleanup and recovery from the EF4 tornado will likely take years.
All right, another live look from our Eco Plumbers Skycam now as we are tracking severe weather moving towards the Miami Valley. I understand there are some warnings issued right now, Nick.
Yeah, the warnings are out to the west, but it is a tornado watch issued for our area. The heaviest storms right now moving through central Indiana. So a couple things we're watching at this present point is this cluster that is moving through. We're also watching a cluster further to the south. Now, this is kind of interesting because the National Weather Service has highlighted this secondary cluster, and it's a question of how do these converge? Do they converge? If they do, we could end up be looking at maybe not necessarily a Frankenstorm, but some of the moisture may be pulled away, and thus we may not get as quite strong storms. So there is at least a chance that this starts to fade out, but already we're starting to see a couple of showers and thunderstorms actually moving in towards the Richmond, Indiana area. Now, typically, excuse me as I hit the wrong one here, but typically at this time at night, we don't necessarily expect a lot of severe weather. We've lost the daytime heating. Here's the thing, though, because these storms are moving into an environment that is a little bit less favorable, as of right now, my instinct says that there's at least a good chance we get scattered, if not isolated, stronger storms to develop, but we may not see a full line. So there may be some spots that actually don't get a whole lot of, let's say, the real heavy-duty storms. Either way, whether or not we get more of a isolated storm, a scattered, there is the chance of damaging wind gusts and a tornado in our area up until about 3, 4 in the morning. Again, that tornado watch goes until 5, but by that time, we expect a lot of the storms to move out of the area.
Nick, thanks. New information tonight regarding the train derailment in East Palestine. What's being said about the health of those investigating?
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now. Well, CNN reporting tonight that 7 government investigators got sick while studying the East Palestine train derailment. The CDC confirmed that they had sore throats, headaches, coughing, and nausea. That's consistent with what some locals felt after the derailment happened, and hazardous chemicals went into the air, water, and soil. The CDC says the team felt better, though, within 24 hours.
And speaking of East Palestine, Dayton native and actor on the popular TV series Yellowstone, Luke Grimes, visited that town today. Grimes was there with the Jeff Ruby family, who owns and operates several steakhouses in the Cincinnati area. Together, they gave away 250 water filtration systems to help people there.